All right, the rain has moved out, clouds have moved on. We got nice sunny weather. Total, we got about a little over an inch of rain. However, it's still too wet to pick cotton today. That cotton's gonna need a little bit of time to fluff back out and everything. So we decided we're gonna get started on something else. Spreading some chicken poop. We finally got our spreader and stuff straightened out with the rate controller and everything. Everything is operating as it should. And I want to give a huge thanks to Steve at BBI. I think he's the only person in the country that actually knows anything about their products. He was a wealth of knowledge, helped us straighten out all the issues on our rate controller and also understand the programming and everything. Really explained all that to me, really helped me out. Huge thanks to Steve. Steve, you need a raise. Not going to say anything else about the other employees that we dealt with, but anyway, now that we got this working, we have to get this thing calibrated with a spread pattern, the density, a whole lot of things we got to learn about that I don't have any experience with. I've talked to a bunch of different people, probably 10 different people about spreading chicken litter, and I've gotten about 10 different responses. Main thing concerned with the spread pattern. Now I know the spread pattern is going to be determined by a lot of different factors, especially the kind of litter that you got. You know, wet, heavy litter is going to spread farther than real dry, fluffy litter with a lot of rice hulls. So we're going to have to do some pan tests to find out exactly what our spread width is going to be. I've got it set on 40 feet, but I've heard anywhere from 25 feet to 50 feet. So we got a pretty big variance there. So we got some catch pans. We're going to set them up and try to determine where that spread pattern starts falling off to know what our spreading width is. But first thing we got to do before we actually spread some litter, we just got maybe a half a load in here just to make sure everything's going to turn right. Last thing I want to do is shovel off a full load of litter. But we have to determine the density of the litter. So to do that, we're going to get a 5-gallon bucket, fill it up, weigh it, and that ought to let us know what we got. All right, so what we did is we bit into the litter pile real good, got away from the crust, filled up our 5-gallon bucket. And then the weight of our 5-gallon bucket is 2.9 pounds. Hang that there. All right, 24.3, and then we multiply that times 1.5. Should give us our density. All right, that comes out to 36.3 pounds per cubic foot. So we're going to do about 2 more of them just to make sure we got a good average density. Now the density is going to change from, you know, bucket to bucket, load to load and all that, but we just want to kind of get an average. All right, you can see out there we got pans, so we're going to do a pan test to see what our spread pattern is. We're going to drive over it spreading, then we're going to take the pans, measure how much is in each pan and try to find out where our spread pattern starts falling off, so we know how far we're spreading effectively, and then how much we need to overlap to be able to get a solid spread all the way across. All right, looking at them, here's our center pan, 8 feet, 16 feet, looks pretty consistent, and then we come out to 24 feet. A lot less there. We still got some 24 feet and then 30 feet, but it looks like between 16 and 24 really tails off. So it looks like about a 40-foot spread pattern is going to be what we're looking at, maybe a little shy. Let's go on the other side and look. Center, 8, 16, and then 24. Anyway, we're gonna get a scale out and measure, and we'll know for sure there. All right, 40 grams out of the center. All right, which one was this one?
This side.
No, let's do them this way. You want to go this way? So
This
here.
one was.
This is right here. This one is this side,
Right.
so it's left.
So this was 8 feet.
Yes. And then that one's the other one, right? You got? Okay.
All right, 13 grams. 21. So I mean, it's varying, but it's still staying. It's not, you know, terribly falling off. Yep, 7. Really falls off between 16 and 24 feet away. So,
Solid 18 feet on both sides.
yeah, I'd say I'm probably going to set it at 38 feet. That'll be. There's nothing exact about litter spread, but 38 feet I think it's a pretty good spread pattern. Look, I mean, we're going to be spreading 12 rows. So we done our calculations based on the grams we caught in each pan. It only said like 1,300 pounds an acre, whereas we're trying to get 3,000 pounds an acre. I feel pretty good about us setting our spread pattern at 38 feet with our spinner speed around 750. Only thing I know to do, this is a 20-foot bed. It should hold somewhere in the ballpark of 9 tons, possibly 8.5, 9 tons. So we're just going to load it all the way to the brim and see how many acres we get over. If we get over, you know, somewhere 6, 7 acres, then it's putting out about the right rate. So this is going to be a huge learning curve for us. You know, with experience, we'll know exactly how to adjust it and set it, know when it's not doing right, but until we get that experience, there's probably going to be some screw ups on the rate application, but all we can do is try. I know this pile over here had 3 loads in it, and that should be enough to get over about 56 acres, so that should be all of this farm and about another 8, 9 acres across the road there. We also got a brand new bucket for our loader. It's supposed to hold twice the volume of our standard bucket. It's a lot taller and a lot deeper. Just by the looks of it, I don't know if it holds twice the volume, but it didn't take, it took 4 scoops to get that litter spreader half full, so I reckon it's gonna do all right. Andy's running out the last of the first load here. It looks like it's doing a really good job spreading there, putting out a nice fine cloud behind it. It even shot a few chunks over my way. She's spreading, y'all. We're spreading her own poop. Now, as soon as we get done picking cotton, this field will be ready to plant wheat on. So that's why I really wanted to get this spreader up and going. So while we're picking cotton, my father-in-law can be cutting stalks and Andy can be spreading the manure right behind it. So once we get done picking, I don't have to wait for anything. I can hook up to that Borgo air seeder, go straight to the field and start planting, because I'll probably be able to cover more ground in a day planting than what Andy will be able to spread. So I think this is really going to maximize our time. And good thing is we don't have to wait on anybody to come spread this for us. We're not at the mercy of anybody else. We're only at the mercy of ourselves and our equipment. All right, that ought to have you 9, 10 tons. I don't know how much exactly, but I think we got her pretty full.
So it's definitely almost maxed out.
Yeah. Oh, well, what's your acre meter reading now?
10.49 out of that one.
All right, 10.49. Let's see what it reads whenever you get done. We'll ought to know pretty close if we're getting out or the right amount or not.
Let's spread this steaming pile here.
It don't stink that bad.
It smells wonderful.
Yeah, it smelled a lot worse when they hauled it out, but it's been composted now. It don't smell bad at all.
Might still taste just as bad, but I don't know about the smell.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna say it smells like perfume, but I definitely smelled a whole lot worse. yesterday was a huge success with the litter spreader. Did a little bit more fine tuning on the spread pattern this morning to kick a little bit more out to the sides. And anyway, we're back out here in the cotton field. Ideally, I'd really like to give this at least another half a day to a day for the cotton to fluff back out from the rain. The rain kind of makes it contract up into the hull, and unfortunately it's probably not going to pick as clean this morning as it was before the rain. But it's November 1st. Our cotton needs to come out. We had a few days of bad weather, and we got more bad weather right around the corner. We got a pretty good stretch coming up this week, and we're at the time of year we can't wait for everything to be just 100% perfect. But anyway, we got down about 25, 26 degrees last night, and we're taking our time warming our heads up real good, warming the baler part up real good. You know, all that hydraulic oil is real cold, and we run the risk of plugging the baler up unless we get all the belts warmed up, the hydraulic oil and stuff warmed up. Got a whole lot of moving mass down there in those heads, especially packed with grease. We got a full load of wrap on the rear. We got 4 wraps left on the current row. We'll be changing it out, but we ought to have enough to run a good long while today.
All right, I believe all the tractors are finally all warmed up, so I'm gonna shut them off real quick, and because we still have to wait for all the cotton to dry out. So instead of poop spreading, I'm gonna hop on the bush hog real quick and go around these field edges and get a little bit more caught up. We're like a field and a half away from being caught up with the picker on the bush hogging, but I am not bush hogging right now. It is Mr. Jeff or Grandpa. And it takes me absolutely no time to get caught up spreading right behind them at 40 feet wide and 9 miles an hour. It takes no time to get caught up with a 6-row picker going 5 miles an hour. So we are hopping on the bush hog and seeing if all of our repairs are gonna hold, which they should. I'm not gonna say they are going to, but they definitely should. And yeah, I guess I will just see y'all in a few.
Ladies, 3 of you probably, and gentlemen, welcome to November 1st. We are still picking cotton and we're very behind, but hopefully today we can catch up on some acres, and we need to really just haul rear for the next week. We are also out here spreading that beautiful chicken litter. Actually, it hasn't smelled as bad as it has in the past. That's, I guess, pretty good. Unfortunately, the bush hog broke again because it can't go a day without breaking down. So my dad and Andy have run somewhere to go fix it. Meanwhile, your marshmallow manager is moving marshmallows to wherever I can place them that's not in mud. That's a weird word to say because the last 2 to 3 months we have had 0 mud, and now we have mud. I think we got like 1.5 inches since last week, and it got, as you can tell, very cold. The low this morning was 25, so I want to go into hibernation. I hate the cold. I loathe it. It's disgusting. But I'm thankful for cab tractors.
All right, hopefully y'all can tell the difference in before the rain and after the rain. These 6 rows right here is where I finished up right as it started to rain on Saturday, and then these 6 rows is what I just picked. You know, it looks like there's a lot more cotton out there, and there is more cotton out there. That's what I was talking about, it not picking as clean or whatever. But however, it it's less cotton than what it actually looks like. You know, when it runs through the picker, the spindles kind of grab it and kind of string it out. Even if they don't grab it enough to pull it out of the hole, it strings it out to where it looks like there's a lot more volume out there than what it actually is. But like I said, ideally, you know, I'd love to give this another day to dry out and fluff back out, but you know, it's November. We just we don't have that luxury right now. But you know, hopefully today, as you know, gets plenty of sun on it, gets a little breeze on it, that it will you know, it'll fluff back out and it'll start picking a little bit cleaner, and it'll just gradually pick a little bit cleaner, you know, as we go along. This first half a day or day that we pick, though, it's going to look pretty rough after the picker runs through it.
Yes, we are leaving some cotton on the ground because it has not had time to fluff out properly. It's not that much. We can't sit around and wait because wheat has a deadline of November 15th. And all of our cotton ground gets planted into wheat. So Matt is just like, I'm just gonna go. And I have to agree with him, let's just go. We're not losing a whole lot of money, but we're losing some. And at this point, what do you do? And that one over there was the first roll of the day, and for some reason, she's quite large and in charge, so that's why she is the caboose. It's really fun trying to manage these and put them together. Yeah, she's large and in charge, so put her at the caboose. Now we're gonna start somewhere where it's high because we've got mud everywhere. It's just like, where do you go? Where do you go? So this beautiful camera helps out some, but it's kind of got this like fisheye, like wide view, so it's kind of hard to line up the modules, but I can pick them up using the camera, which is nice, and it saves on the back and the neck pain.
All right, we just ran out our last wrap on the roll, and just as soon as that happened, also had an alarm pop up ready for my 6-hour greasing, so we're gonna get all the heads greased with the automatic greaser and change out a load of wrap and be ready to pick some more cotton. My stomach's also telling me it's lunchtime too, so eat lunch after we get all this done. But what this automatic greaser does is it pumps grease up through all the bars right there, and we watch it until we start seeing grease come out of the top where those gears are right there, and then we're also watching the sun gears turning up in there, watching, making sure grease is dropping down on top of them also. All right, see all that grease coming out the top of the neck? So these units are greased. We're also going to check all the other heads, make sure they're all greasing. And then we'll get down here and we'll wipe our doffer cutoffs too, try and keep them from choking up, making me get off the picker again. I'm already down here, might as well do it now. All right, since it is now officially November 1st, we can turn our attention from Halloween to other more important holidays, and look what Kelly packed in my lunchbox today. A Christmas tree cake. 'Tis the season. I could clear cut a forest of these. My wife always knows what I like.
Yeah, I think the bush hog is broke because he's leaving the field, and that's not a good sign. And I'm waiting for more mother cluckers to start flying over the radio. I just can't have one day.
Y'all, this 4440 and bush hog is going to be the death of me. As you can see, it is sitting still. Why is it sitting still? It is sitting still because it is broke down yet again. Not the tractor this time, bush hog. The center short, center square shaft going to the center gearbox. I guess the bolt that holds it in worked loose, and it just flung itself off into outer space, nowhere to be found. Luckily, my good friend Bo at J&S has got a section of 1.25" solid square bar. He's gonna cut me off 11 inches, drill me a hole in the end, and be back running again. But gotta waste time driving all the way to Humboldt to get it. Problem is, I mean, we need that bush hog running. because, well, for two reasons. We got to cut the stalks where we're staging the modules, and also if the stalks aren't cut, I don't want Andy pulling that litter spreader through there because it interfere with the spread and drag stalks all up under the bottom and everything else. So we can't get on track today. I mean, I picked 4 modules and it's like 130. I've had sensor issues on this thing. Had to tout the belts down because one side's not tracking quite right and not running wrap over the edge of a module. I love picking cotton, but some days it can be the most frustrating thing in the world because you got all this equipment that needs to be running at the same time, and if one thing broke down, it puts a wrench in the whole operation.
All right, I got all the edges cleaned up for the most part, but now we get back to the best smelling job. You can see through my window here. I've covered 75 acres out here, and there's about 40 more to do, about 35 more to do. So yeah, I'm gonna get spreading, right? And it takes me no time to get caught up with the cotton picker, so while it's down and messing with a sensor over there, I'm gonna just spread until I get caught up. And I think I'm gonna take the bush hog back down to another little farm and finish up where I left off because it got too dark and they were trying to move some modules over here, so I left a couple patches of stalks. But right now, let's spread some chicken crap. All right, so we're back to where we left off yesterday, and I'm gonna turn my work on here, turn my GPS on, and go to our screen where we can see if everything's turning on like it ought to. I'll turn our fans on here. We're watching this number right here. It's supposed to be around 750. Alright, that's good. And now we go on along here. Kick it on and it's starting to spread. Go back to our work screen here. And I'm following on the outsides, I'm going however many inrows there are. Like if there are 24 inrows, I'm going to make 2 passes, and if there's only 12, like there are, I guess there's 24 right here, but if there's 12, I'm going only to make 1 pass and making it way easier to turn around. It's kind of like planting, or I guess like fertilizer spreading, obviously, but just go on along here. I'm going about 9.6 miles per hour. If you can see it spreading back there. I just turned it off, so it should stop in just a second. Back on our 6th row here, so let's start it again. Turn this on and go on along. Well, it looks like we ran out, so just turned everything off and going to go get another load. As I was pulling into my poop pile here, I see there's another poop pile over there. Yikes. But I believe it has to do something with the rock shaft position sensor and calibrating and stuff. We've had some problem with the wraps. They're not getting just super tight as they need to be. Like this one right here around the edges. It's just not even tightening them up around the edge. So yay, we've got a little bit of wrap problem, and I believe that rock shaft sensor is gone. gone out again or won't calibrate or something. I'm not even sure, but I'm sure y'all will figure out a little more on Matt's end. So let's get loaded up and quit looking at this pile of cotton. Well, I'd say she's full. That's about 18,000, around about 18,000 or 9 tons. So max payload on it is 10 ton, and it looks pretty maxed out. So right around 9 ton. That's what we like. Let's get back in here and start this repetitive process.
All right, things finally running halfway smooth. Andy and my father-in-law got the bush hog fixed. Now Andy's loading up a litter, getting started with a litter. For the moment, anyway, everything is working like it should. Maybe we can have a good last part of the day and actually get some ground covered. And as usual, I'm not making things any easier on myself. I had a major screw up with a baler there. One of my sensors acting wonky, and I wasn't even thinking. Put it in the baler service mode, went back there, cracked the tailgate, and all of a sudden I seen white where the tailgate opens up. I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah, I had like a 60-inch module in there, hadn't been wrapped or anything. So anyway, I opened up the tailgate that much, not all the way. But anyway, I tried to close the tailgate. Of course, the cotton wouldn't compress back, couldn't get it latched back all the way, so I could have just dumped it there and called the gin, told them to come get it, but it's a huge mess. Didn't want to do that. So I tried to manually wrap the bale, because I got the tailgate pretty close, but not closed all the way and not latched. Anyway, did that, started running wrap around it, and the thing just kept on running and running. It's like, doesn't it, it is supposed to like pull loose or stop itself. The owner's manual here is not very clear about the process. So anyway, I stopped the wrapping process. I mean, I could tell where the wrap had gone around the edge real good. So anyway, ejected the module, and module ejected, and then the plastic just kept on coming out behind it because it never had pulled apart. So I got a module on the ground. I got a long sheet of plastic going up through the baler to the roll and everything. Anyway, I called my buddy Jordan. He's able to walk me through it. So cut the plastic off the roll, pulled it out of the baler, and then unrolled the roll until I got to the part where it come apart, and then fed that back in. So it wasn't as big of a mess as what I thought it was initially. If it weren't for good friends, this whole module picker experience would have been a lot tougher than what it has been already. And as it is, it's been a really steep learning curve. Every day I'm learning what to do, what not to do, what sensors do this, what sensors do that, all that kind of stuff. We got the bush hog going. We got about two-thirds of this farm harvested. About 36 more acres to go. Not gonna get it done today, but hopefully make a real big dent in it.